He is 100% worth it.
He takes it to another level. Oh my God, I just fell in love with it.
Thanks so much, Jay.
Blew my mind. And it worked. I wanted to buy my thing.
Jay is, I would say, the Yoda of sales calls, man.
Just talking to Jay, he was so good at just taking what it is, seeing the opportunity and the value and the real reason we are making it.
Talk to Jay, because he got it. He can definitely help you out.
Talk to Jay. You're going to get a lot. You're going to gain a lot.
I would absolutely recommend him for any position that you have.
Jay's definitely the guy.
Give him the chance, give him the opportunity. You won't regret it.
He's good at what he does, so I highly recommend him, and I would book him before he is fully booked out.
Welcome everyone to the Sales Ninja Show podcast. My name is Jay and I'm here to help you sell more to give more. Today we're going to be unlocking and achieving ultimate success with LinkedIn top voice marketing genius Krista Mollion. Please allow me to introduce my guest who has gained over 67,000 organic followers on LinkedIn with the coveted LinkedIn Top Voice Award. Krista has also established herself as a marketing genius and she's the founder of Unignorable Brands and from zero to six Academy, where she empowers early stage entrepreneurs to grow their businesses and influence, ultimately by buying back their time and living life on their own terms. A former Silicon Valley tech entrepreneur, business coach, LinkedIn top voice, today's podcast will uncover strategies to help you achieve ultimate success, which is unlocking financial and personal freedom. I know we all want that. I know we all dream about that. But Krista's impressive journey from building a leading experiential marketing agency in San Francisco, partnering with tech giants with the likes of Apple and Google to consulting businesses on high-value content marketing and LinkedIn strategies. In this podcast, Krista shares how she's able to attract six-figure clients, create unignorable brands, and achieve the ultimate success of financial freedom. So you guys are in for a big treat. Let's go. Welcome, Krista, to the Sales Ninja Show podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me, Jay. What's up?
What's up? So thank you for joining, and everyone who's watching on the different streams. Well, I just want to just welcome my new friend, Krista. And one of the things which got us started, which was a kind of an interesting start, was I think you said something to the effect of, I don't talk to or have not talked to coaches. I think you said something like that for the last couple of years. I can't remember how many years. I know why, but the other people don't know why. That's a funny story. Do you mind just opening with that?
Well, you and I could probably talk about a lot of funny stories. We might have to do a part 2, but I told you that I don't usually like to connect too much with coaches because you never know what's behind the curtain. So 9 out of 10 times I'll connect with someone who's really like, what is a coach? What does that mean? Right. And so it's very ambiguous. Like, who am I connecting with? But with that said, there's some really good ones out there too. It's just you never know. And especially if your title says something like, I work with coaches, and you're trying to connect with me, I'm like, oh, great. They're going to try to pitch me something, right?
Very, very true. And I know that you and I have had our fair share of pitches and sleazy DMs. Whether we do that on this show or not, I think we'll just ease into the conversation because, with being a LinkedIn Top Voice Award and going from 0 to 6 Academy, and, you have a lot of accolades that I think a lot of people are looking to achieve, but they have no idea what to do, how to get started. In some of the marketing that you're a genius marketer, right? So attracting the right audience, producing content that converts, like even those two things right there are very, very difficult things to do and achieve. And I would say, based on my experience in hundreds or thousands of sales calls and entrepreneurs, most people struggle with those two things right away. Growing the right way to increase profits, to scale, that's another thing. Becoming known as a leading brand and thought leader in your industry, that seems like a pipe dream. And then selling like a pro, how's that even possible? Can you talk to some of these points or all of them, depending on, where you feel called?
Absolutely. So, first of all, it's no longer an optional add-on thing that you can just ignore, because up until maybe the COVID, people were thinking, well, unless I'm trying to become a personal, like a public figure, or I am a CEO, or I'm in a public facing role, I don't need to worry about my personal brand. Like, what does that even mean? I don't even think half the people knew what that word was or that expression was until COVID. And suddenly we lost all the networking power of in-person networking. So that really threw a curveball for many people. It's like, well, how am I going to find new clients when I'm used to going to all these in-person networking events or doing public speaking on stage and selling from stage? And the answer is, well, you should have been thinking for the past 10 years about your personal brand, but better late than never. So that's what I want to say, is that no matter what stage you're at in your career, whether you're employed or self-employed, you should be thinking about your personal brand. That's number one. But the good news is it doesn't have to be hard. It can be fun, because what is a personal brand? A lot of people think of that like, I'm going to have to create this fake persona of me. Like, there's the real me, and then there's my personal brand. And what it really is the opposite. You want to look at what makes you you. And the best way to start is to ask a couple of people who know you pretty well. And that could be a mixture of, well, the people who know you best, like your spouse, your parents, your siblings, your close colleagues at work, some key clients. And then you can be like, okay, what are the qualities that you really appreciate about me? And make a list, and then look for commonalities, because you'll pretty much find patterns. You're like, for me, people love that I'm passionate. So when I work with them, they're like, I can tell you're really passionate about helping me. You're really passionate about the project. And they also tell me that I'm honest. So I don't hold back. I'll say things directly, because I'm like, look, I'd rather be straight with you about this than to pretend. And, and those things better come from other people. And then you think, am I showing up in my online persona with my true qualities? And if not, what can I do to emphasize that? That's where I'd start. That's where I'd start.
That's so powerful. I think, and that's a thing. Like, being in sales, like, is one thing, and that's another skill to really master. But without marketing, sales is not going to happen. So being able to, brand yourself, being able to have content that converts, being able to attract the right audience. When you talked about what makes you you, and you find patterns, and you said yourself, for you're passionate about helping others, you're honest. I think there are a lot of people who are, the fly-by-night coaches, online entrepreneurs, like you said before, and it's scary when you get in a call, and when they're talking about their expertise, and more than them, and that's not your expertise. It's kind of like it's unsettling. That and maybe because people are so desperate to try to make a living and escape corporate 9 to 5, and maybe that's their why, and they're just trying to make it happen. When you talk about branding, what makes you you? How do people project? Because how people say, like, on video you should be like 20% more animated, more charismatic, because people are usually like not very charismatic and stuff like that. When you do a marketing brand, how do you stay you, but still stay, like attractive, if that makes sense?
Yeah. So when you're talking about something that you know about deeply, you tend to be more energetic. So imagine that you asked me some questions right now on this show about some topic that I hate or I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
I would immediately, you would see my energy go down, and I would kind of shrink into myself, and I would be like, oh crap. I'm really stupid now. Well, this is what I think about that topic that I could care less about. And that's the problem is you cannot have a disconnect between what you do with your only 24 hours of your life and who you want to be. And this is going to get a little deep because I really feel that the audience needs to hear this, is that we need to make sure that we're going back to asking ourselves on a semi-regular basis, is my lifestyle aligned with who I believe I am? And if not, you got to do something to change that, because it's not about being extroverted, or it's more about just people can feel your energy, and your best energy comes out when you're talking about things that you love. You're with people who you actually like. You're doing things that you enjoy. That's what will bring that energy into you, and that energy radiates outward. So this whole law of attraction thing, between you and me, I don't know if that's real, because I've been asking, attract the money. And I have more luck doing real B2B marketing and sales than trying to sit there and ask for the money. But that's another topic. But I'm saying that I think the law of attraction actually comes from having this amazing energy, because you're doing something you love, and that creates authenticity, and that is conveyed to the audience. And somebody who really is showing up very aligned with that is Gary Vee. Love him or hate him, he never tried to pretend to be someone he wasn't. He showed up, he said what he thought, he spoke the way he spoke, which offended a lot of people at the time. I think his PR people have since calmed him down, because I've noticed the F word has really diminished from his videos. Chris, oh my goodness, Chris is a great person to know, everyone. If you're not connected with my man Chris, go out and connect. The challenge champion. But talking about personal branding, one thing that you have to recognize is this very strong relationship between, I call it the trifecta, is marketing, sales, and lead gen. And a lot of companies don't understand the importance of having all three. So I'll come in and they'll be like, well, our product sells itself. Like, we have this really strong, loyal customer base, and they basically just are repeat customers, and then they refer us to other people, or they upgrade their packages. So we haven't really done anything with marketing because we've been lucky. Big mistake. Big mistake. Or the opposite. Today we're in this very marketing driven society. Have you noticed? Like, it feels like we're talking a lot more about marketing in the online space than we are about sales. Big mistake too. Because if you're trying to sell high ticket products, you're going to have to get on a call with someone, or you're going to have a really, really good funnel. But the funnel probably will include a DM thing. There's many tools now that will send out a DM to the person who, is inquiring and showing buyer intent. So my point is that we need definitely to have marketing and sales, but then what glues them together? It's lead gen. So I may be over here in my marketing world putting out all this great content. The salespeople may be getting on call after call after call, emailing all the time. But the truth is, in between, there's this gray zone called lead gen. And a lot of time it's like a abandoned stepchild. I mean, it's like, well, the sales, we're taking care of lead gen. That's what we do. But they're not. And when you go in and you're like, that's how you research people, the marketers are terrified when they see what the salespeople, like the level of effort they put in. Well, we scraped a bunch of data. We've got all these leads. Now we're just calling through the list. And you know as well as I do that is a terrible idea, because you get spammed, don't you? In LinkedIn, do you ever have you ever gotten one of those DMs? Hey, Jay, I'm curious. Would you like to improve your sales? Because we have a whole training. We have a coaching program, an academy even, and we would love to help you out.
All the time.
Don't you just want to karate chop them? Like in that
Yeah.
So, pitch slapped. I wish there was an emoji, like, just, we have to give an animated GIF to like karate chop these people, because it's like, did you bother to read my profile? I offer those services. Get the heck out of my inbox. go away. So do you understand what I mean by the disconnect between lead gen and marketing? So these people have this list and they're just sending out the same email to all these people and they don't even bother to do the work. So lead gen has to be in there. So the lead gen has to pre-qualify the buyers. And then the people get on sales emails and calls with the right people. It doesn't mean they're going to sell them. They might not need the service or they might not like you. But the thing is that triangle is what I really want the audience to understand, and understand that you can't just go off here and do a really good job at your personal brand and the clients will flood into your life. Some of these people make it sound that way, but in reality, there's pods, engagement pods going on. There's affiliate deals, there's advertising. There's people who are like, really have connections. So you don't see that, but you're, oh, I just put out the content and all these people want to work with me. I just sit here and absorb all these new clients. Those people I also want to karate chop because they're setting you up for failure. And because it's not the reality of what really happens. You have to work really hard to get those customers. All right. No pitch stopping. Yeah. You know what I need? I need a bell. I need one of those bells to ring. Yes. So true. And it drives me mad because the thing is, here's what I think I want the audience to know. It may be tempting because, hey, you've got a life and you probably have much better things to do with your time than try to sit around and research people and DM them and get on calls with all these strangers. But the truth is, spamming is going to ruin your reputation. So it could be tempting to use one of these automation bot tools that you probably hear about all the time, or hire somebody who says, I can grow your LinkedIn for you. Just sit back and enjoy. I'll grow your link. But the truth is, you can never get back your reputation. I have received DMs from people I know and have met in person saying, it's really nice to get to know you. I'd love to hear what you do. And I'm like, Gerald, is that you? And it's like, this is not Gerald. This is my new lead gen agency who doesn't know jack about anything. So we can go on all day to just please people. Don't be tempted. The truth is, you can get clients if you just learn the triangle. And you don't have to be an expert at sales and marketing and lead gen. You just have to figure out what's the minimum to create the funnel so that these three have a constant feedback flow. So marketing leads to lead gen, leads to sales. And then from the sales, we have to go and do the same thing again, because you might not close all those deals unless you're superhero. So then we have to go and nurture them. So then those leads who said not right now go back to marketing, and we keep delivering value to them. We keep wowing them with all the cool stuff that we help them with. And then we reach out tentatively. How are you doing now? Are you, we're launching this new product. Would you maybe be interested in it now? And if it's not, it's okay. But we want to know, because you've shown interest in the past, but you said no. So all that intel should not be wasted. And that's very important, is that marketing information has to flow through lead gen, has to flow through sales, because we need to have a CRM that has all the information. So I know every single time that person has checked our website. I know every single time that person has clicked on our LinkedIn company page URL. I know everything. If they've had a sales call or a DM with one of our people, it's in there. Like complete transparency into every lead.
Wow.
And that's not what's happening right now. Marketing has their tools, sales has their tools, and lead gen, who knows? Maybe it's some agency overseas who you don't even know who your company is they're working for. They're just like, they've got so many clients going. It's like
amazing. Amazing. There's a lot of feedback from, I don't know, people that maybe and there's a lot of people that are tuning in. So I think there's a lot of value in here, and let's move from this trifecta to you're able to charge what you want, and get these six-figure clients. I mentioned this to a couple of people even today on some calls that I had, and they're like, what? Really? How? So how are you demanding six-figure clients? What is making them bring that up? And it may not even be like a monthly payment. It may even be an upfront where people are like, I'd love to be. And I think last time, I think you said there's a waiting list. Can you unpack that a little bit?
Well, first of all, there's only one of you. And what you offer is a unique combination of super skills. So it's not just sales. It's the way you do sales. It's your network. It's your personality. It's your years of experience. It's all the knowledge you have. There's so much to unpack for every person here. And that's why, your net worth is really dependent on you recognizing and knowing what you are worth. And no one can replace that. No one should be taking that away. And if you have problems with that, you need to heal that. You need to get the mindset up to here, because it really starts with the belief of I only accept what I know I deserve, not what I can get. And that's the problem. The problem is a lot of people are like, what should I charge? What can I ask for? Let me dare to see if I can push the limit. But you shouldn't be operating with that mindset. You should be operating from, here's all the things that I bring to the table that make me unique and special and different. Here's the proof that I have those skills. And that's another thing that we need to talk about. If you want to charge higher rates and get six-figure clients, you need to think, how can I elevate my net worth from a social proof standpoint? So for me, that means like getting the top voice, for example. It means
congratulations.
Thank you. You set goals for yourself, and you say, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to pick the one thing that I can do that has the most amplification for my business. So maybe for you, that means getting into an event with like a semi-celebrity person in your industry. Like if you're in sales, there's a couple of OGs in the sales space, and you're like, yeah, of course I spoke on stage with, old Grant and old and they're my buddies, and here's the photo to prove it. You think that a person who sees that and, you have some proof to back those things up, do you think that they're going to start negotiating your rate down? Yeah, you're kind of too expensive. I have to think it over.
No.
So social proof is your key to charging higher rates. The better you position your personal brand and you work on getting those accolades that elevate you above the crowd, the less you have to sell. You still have to sell. That's why I talk about the triangle, but it's so much easier. You don't have to justify who you are. They're like, we already know who you are. We've heard about you. Congratulations. It's just going to be so much easier for you.
Wow, that was gold right there. So everyone who's watching and listening to the podcast, social proof is the key to charging higher rates. So work on getting those achievements, accolades, and even social proof to help you elevate above the rest. I think that was very, very powerful.
And don't chase them, set them intentionally. So please don't just say, well, I hope something good happens. For example, I have people come to me like, I hope I grow my account. Like I'm posting every day. I hope I grow my account on LinkedIn. And that's not what you should be thinking. You should be thinking, can I get some kind of award? Can I publish a book? Can I get on a stage? Can I collaborate with an OG in the industry that would elevate me to a new status? And in order to set those intentional goals for your personal brand, I highly recommend that you find a couple of mentors, because that is a game changer. What happens as a solopreneur or as a small business CEO, it can get lonely. And you're, like my typical week now, I've really focused on freedom, but I'm a workaholic. I've always been a workaholic. So I'm always kind of thinking about more work, taking on too much, and I've had to really work on it over the years. So my point is, a lot of people will say, well, I'm way too busy I don't need a mentor. I'm too busy working. But if you want to get to your next level, you have to define what those goals are, and you have to have an accountability partner. And the best accountability partner to hit those goals usually isn't your spouse, because they love you too much. Okay.
Yeah.
Or they're either they love you too much, so they won't push you,
Yeah.
or they're gonna nag you, and then you're gonna be like, "Lay off. I changed my mind. Like, I have all these excuses. You know darn well that I can't do that right now because what have just happened." With a coach, you won't have those kind of discussions. The coach will be like, "You're gonna commit to that. Here's your action plan. Tell me how you do. Send me a text every day to make sure you did it." For example.
Yeah. Amazing. I'm just gonna put some comments. There's a lot of people that are interacting here, so let's see.
I see a question. I see Denny asking a question, so I don't want to miss you. I want to acknowledge you. I hope that's the right way to say her name, Denny. Do you have a fave CRM that can work for a solopreneur? So listen, what's the one you can afford? Because I'll be honest, like right now, I'm actually downgrading a couple of my clients from like HubSpot, because I'm like, look, you don't need HubSpot until you have 5,000 earned leads and a newsletter, and you're doing all kinds of marketing efforts. When you're starting out like a solopreneur, you need something easy and cheap. And I'm going to emphasize cheap. And believe me, I'm not cheap, but I know where to invest my money. Like, I just purchased a lot of nice equipment. I got myself a DJI Osmo, and I got this nice, cool, it's the microphone.
Nice.
So it's hold on, I'll show you. It's really cool. Hey everyone, demo time. So these are recording devices. So if you do podcasting, all this cool stuff, you go outside, you film it. It's crystal clear audio. Okay. So
who is it made by?
DJI. DJI is one of my favorite brands. DJI, if you need an influencer, you call me up. Okay. So DJI is cool. And then Elgato, I mentioned before. So, I mean, you know, I invest in good stuff, but I think that there's ways you can save money. And CRM, definitely, I think a lot of people end up overpaying, especially in the early stages. I'm going to tell you the one that I like the best. And I think I can put here in the comments. If I can't, I'll put it in the private chat and we can republish.
Yep.
But this is the one that I actually am a diehard fan of for solopreneurs, because you asked. And I also have become their affiliate, full disclosure, because I train people how to set this up, how to use it. For some of my clients, I'm running their accounts because it's really, really so nice tool and so easy to grow. And it helped me grow my newsletter pretty big. And that is ConvertKit. Okay. So this is my affiliate link. If you end up using this link, you can send me a message and I will give you a free one-on-one training.
Oh, wow.
So
were you able to put in the comments?
I put it in the private chat. In the comments, it says you can't post comments. So
I'll put it in.
If you can. We'll see if you can.
Let me try. Let me see if I can do this.
We might have to actually go to LinkedIn and put it in. I wish I had my phone. I put my phone away.
Okay, no, I put it in. So it's over here.
Okay. Okay. So ConvertKit is, I think the starting price is like $15 a month. But here's the reason I love that tool for CRM. It's not only a CRM. You can build all your landing pages. You can add paid products. So for example, when I first started my solo business, the first thing I did was get ConvertKit, thank goodness. And I set up like 4 different paid products. So the first one was a monthly paid masterclass where I was teaching marketing. The second one was a one-on-one coaching with me, like a one-time session, which I put into my LinkedIn featured section so that people could book a paid call with me. ConvertKit. But it doesn't say ConvertKit. So it looked really nice. It tells you like enter your name information. Here's a checkout page. All these templates are so easy to use that you don't have to be a tech genius or a design genius to use, because they come with so many templates. So I was able to, I sold my first mini course, like the social media secrets on there. I sold a LinkedIn workshop on there. Like, I made a lot of money just by creating really quick and dirty pages there and then selling them.
Wow.
And I was growing my list and lead magnets, free masterclass, all of that, downloadables, everything through ConvertKit. And it starts at $15 a month. Now tell me, what kind of all-in-one tool can you get for that low? You'd probably have to buy like 3 or 4 tools. So I hope that answers your question, Denny. But if you have any more questions, please reach out.
Any friend of Krista's is a friend of mine.
Yay. Oh, he didn't personalize his request. He's apologizing. He's like,
That's funny. So let's talk about buying back your time, because I know we're running out of time. You said Mondays and Fridays people cannot book you. How do you buy back your time, and what do you do on Mondays and Fridays that would be a practical tip to help us in our marketing and sales efforts?
So I actually have a time management course, because I think that time management is one of the biggest enemies for solopreneurs, especially. But as a former consistent struggling workaholic, I had to restructure everything. So I was like, how am I going to not burn out? How am I going to get the things done that I want to get done? And how am I going to find that work-life balance if I don't have a workplace? So I'm not leaving for the office, coming home.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of blurred lines. In fact, I would say my phone is my office,
Mm-hmm.
because I can, communicate with my client. So it becomes dangerous for us small business owners. So that's why the first thing I think you have to do is figure out, here's how you reverse engineer that question. You start out by saying, what is my income goal? So, and I personally prefer to talk in terms of monthly goal, because I think that motivates us more, doesn't it? Like, what is $500,000 or $1 million or 300,000? I want to think like every month I'm going to make 10K minimum. That's my starter pack for any new solopreneur. Okay. And then as you grow and you build systems and you get bigger, you can set higher goals. But think about this. If you're making 10K a month as a solopreneur, you're going to cover most job salaries right there.
Absolutely.
So you've already made the money that you would make in a job. So that's why I feel like 10K is a good goal for people. It also will cover you for expenses like coaching, software, hardware. Not a lot, to be honest, because things add up. But 10K is like a very good starter solopreneur income. So think about what that looks like for you at this time, and then what your goals are. And then you're like, okay, if I want to make, let's say you're making 0. You have to think, okay, I got to get from 0 to 10K a month. So what I need to do is hire a coach who teaches me the systems of what products I need to put out there, because what are you actually selling, right? And so you have to diversify, and you have your offers. So you have your income, then you have your core offers. And then you think, how much time do I need in order to make that income per week? How can I maximize my time? So one of the best ways to maximize your time is to create parameters around your time, because of the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle says time will expand to fill whatever task you give it. So if you allocate 30 minutes for a task, or 3 hours, or unlimited, there's no limit, the task will be there. So put parameters around those tasks. Be like, okay, in order to generate 10K a month, I have these 3 offers. Here's what I need to do to run those offers and make them sell. Then you put parameters around the time, and you're like, I'm going to try to do this in 3 days a week, because I like the number 3. I'm a very big fan of 3. And then you're like, okay, in order to get that done in 3 days a week, what systems do I need to build, and can I get help? And here's the thing. The book that changed my life was back, I'm going to date myself, but it's called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Okay. So it's a classic, my friends. I don't care how old you are. It's such a great book. And the truth is, I feel like it it was the first book I ever read about solopreneurship and online business. And in that book, Tim Ferriss, he talks about outsourcing everything that is outside your core skill. So if I'm like, I have 3 days to make money. Okay, how many clients can I serve? Let's do the math. Like, let's say I have a coaching package or a consulting or a service package. How many hours do I need to allocate during those 3 days? And can I serve everyone in 3 days? Where's my limit? And very quickly, you're going to have a limit because you're like, I can't really do much. So then you're going to be like, okay, then I need another offer that's a passive offer. So what am I going to go after? Sponsorships, affiliate income, digital courses, a book, publish a book, like, you know, and then you build a funnel around any of those things. And that's my specialty. So everyone listening, you need someone to build you a funnel. That's what I like to do. And when I say build, what I like to do is first and foremost strategize with you what funnel we're building. Like, are you building a book funnel? Are you building a digital course funnel? Are you building a one-on-one high ticket mastermind funnel? Are you building a community funnel? So I help people build out their funnels, and I have a whole team of tech people who can help, who can do it all for you, or I will just teach you how to do it and your people will build it. So it's really depending on you, where you're at and what you want to do. Okay. But believe me, if you have funnels, you can work 3 days a week and and the sky's the limit. So the more content you put out, the more you elevate your personal brand, the funnels will just keep working for you and generate more and more income. Done. That's how you work 3 days a week.
Amazing. So when you build this funnel ecosystem where, you know, you can work 3 days a week and live the life that you dream of, and you have the marketing, the trifecta, the lead gen, the sales in place, all dialed in, is this, you know, a solopreneur, one man or woman show, or is this like a team of 2 or 3? How many people do you need to get this all working?
So I really believe that if you're going to invest in, well, I believe you should invest in outside resources, but not everyone wants to manage a team. Not everyone wants to have those costs hanging over their head. Like, what if you want to take off for a month and you don't want to work, but you've got a team, you have to pay them and you're not there to direct them, or you don't want to do any launches? It sucks, right? So that's why I said the very first step is to figure out what's your goal, what are your offers, and then put parameters around that. And some people will tell me, I don't want to work 3 days a week. I want to work every day. Like, I'm really committed to this. And so what I love about entrepreneurship is you decide if you want a team or you don't want a team. Do you need a team? No, you don't need a team. Does a team help? Yeah, it does. Especially as I think that for me, it's more like the 7-figure range where it's really hard to manage without a team. Because there's so much customer service involved at that point. There's your time will be very high in demand. So there'll be a lot of inbound, your inbox will blow up, your DMs will blow up. And so the 2 people I would recommend you consider hiring is the very first person I would invest in if I'm starting from zero today is a coach. But please, as we talked about in the very beginning, be careful who you hire. I just put out a carousel post called the 6 Shades of Coaches, or 7.
Oh my gosh.
7 shades.
That's so funny.
7 shades of business coaches. Okay. So I'm like, everyone calls themselves a business coach, but here's actually who they are. And they're very, very different. So do your due diligence. And if you need help, like vetting a coach, check in with me, because I have written like articles and I have like specific criteria and questions to ask that I think really would save you. Because remember, when you're bootstrapping your business, even $500 can feel like, oh, I'm making a really big investment. I'm paying 1 hour of that coach's time and they charge $500 an hour, up to $50,000 a month for, like, you know, coaching one-on-one. So sometimes $100K. There's coaches out there. I think Dan Locke, who's like a sales. I think he said he charges $100K to work with him, starting package.
Oh my gosh.
So my point being is, we're living in the Wild West where there is no accreditation that really can tell you that the coach is much better than one or the other. And if there is one, it's like something you can just go pay for really easy and get it. So it's not at like they're really good at what they do. So you have to really take your time to find the right one. But that would be the very first person I would hire. And then if you're all set with your coach, the second person I'd recommend you consider hiring is a VA or a PA. So personal assistant or a virtual assistant, whatever you call them. There's a little bit of a difference, but they're basically taking off all the admin, email, scheduling stuff for you, and just protecting your time. And I can tell you the hidden benefit of having a VA that no one thinks of. They get you organized because you know what you do when you're by yourself? You divert into doing things that are really, really time wasting. And then you're like, it's 2 p.m. and I'm watching a YouTube video by Alex Hormozy. And my VA is like, hi, I'm checking in to see about this project detail. And you're like, oh crap, I actually have someone. I better get back to work. And a VA will force you to write SOPs. So standard operating procedures, like how do you do your funnels? How do you do your outreach? How do you deal with LinkedIn? How do you like to have your inbox man? And you have to actually train them. And so that's the secret is you'll notice a before and after having a VA, how organized you become. Because you're forced to. What are they gonna, you're paying them to do what? Just sit there and wait for something to come into your head for them to do. So you have to get super organized about documenting your processes, and that becomes your SOPs. And the beauty of that is once it's out there, your VA can train the next hire. And then then they can get another VA, and then suddenly you have more money and you're like, okay, that LinkedIn thing, we're going to actually hire a social media manager, and there's the SOP for her. And then the email process, we're going to have an email person come in and take. So all those SOPs that were originally just for your VA become your whole operating system for your whole business. You don't have to redo it. It's already there. It just will be developed even more in detail.
That was genius. And I've heard this, from mentors that I've hired, do what you do best, outsource the rest, which is a Tim Ferriss rule. When you're looking for a VA or a PA, I've heard horror stories of people who have hired people from, Philippines, Pakistan, like just different countries where they don't understand the culture, the nuances. And some of them are very well educated. And it's just, you kind of get a luck of the draw between people who are excellent and people who are not great or understand the business. And then some people swear by US, VA. What are some recommendations or tips? Or I know you said you had a document that you said, how do you vet these people?
Yeah. So let me tell you something is that if you're hiring a VA and PA, the first question I would ask you is, are you a leader? And what I mean by that is if you're a solopreneur, you probably had a career before you became a solopreneur. Were you directly interviewing, hiring, and managing people and paying salaries or not? And 9 out of 10 times, the people I work with were not. So they became solopreneurs, but maybe they had a senior role, but it wasn't like they were the one that hired the people below them or, when I say leadership training is so, so important, you're going to have to learn to be a leader. Because when someone tells me, oh, I had a bad experience, what they're basically telling me is I'm a crappy manager. So, and I know that sounds really harsh, but remember I said one of my qualities is never to lie. It's always a reflection of you, always. So whenever someone underperforms, it's always my fault. And there's only 2 reasons why they underperformed. They weren't a right fit for the role. And when I interviewed them, I didn't see that. So I made a bad hire. I didn't do a good due diligence to check on their references. I didn't ask them the right questions. I didn't ask them for proof about things. I just interviewed them, thought they were nice and hired them. Huge mistake. So it's either a bad hire or I don't know how to manage people. So I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, okay, just do these tasks for me. And the person is trying to keep up or trying to figure out what they should be doing at what time, or I'm a micromanager, or I'm checking their timesheets. And I'm like, that's not management. I don't do timesheets because I trust my people. I don't need timesheets. And by the way, I love the Philippines. Love the Philippines. I love USA. I love Pakistan. I'm working with people all over the world. India. Shout out to all my friends out there who are all over the world on LinkedIn. And I want to say that I've got like right now about 30 people who are directly working for me who I pay every month.
Wow, really?
But I'm managing about 60 people.
What?
And the reason is that I'm a CMO for 5 companies. And so I hire people on their behalf as well. And they report to me. So what that means, Jay, is they did a bad job. My fault. Every single one of them. So what does that mean? I have to learn to be a good leader. I don't check what they're doing. I get them excited about the mission and focused on what they're trying to work on. And I make sure I put the right people in the right roles who love that thing. They're actually interested in that thing. They want to do that thing. And then I show them how much I trust them and value them, and they do a great job. Easy.
You said something that was really, really powerful, and I want to reiterate this. You said you have 30 people working for you, and you are a CMO for 5 companies and manage 60 people. So that in itself is not normal. That is exceptional. That is like top leadership.
Nah, that's not a big deal. I've managed more people in my career, Jay. But the thing is, that's what I think I enjoy. And I'll tell you what, being a solopreneur, remember I said, like, should you hire people or should you not? What I love about entrepreneurship, and I know we're just at the top of the hour, but this is so important for everyone listening who has a business or thinking about a business or freelancing or trying to grow their brand. You have to learn who you are and know deep down, don't try to do something that you hate. But if you still need to do it for some reason, get help. And then you'll figure out once you got help, you know what? I think I'll just outsource this. I'll hire someone to do it for me, right? Whether they're working for you or you've outsourced the task. Like right now, I have someone doing a logo animation as we're speaking, because I'm at this podcast. I don't have time to do that. You hear what I'm saying? So but you have to know who you are and think, am I focused on my core strength, what I love to do? And one thing I realized being a solopreneur, for a while, I needed a break, because we're out of time. I can tell you my story another time, but I kind of burnt out. I sold my agency shares. It was heartbreaking for me. It was a long decision, like about almost a year of thinking if I'm going to do it or not. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But I said, no, I'm done. I need to move forward with something new. Terrifying. Didn't have a real good personal brand because I've invested all my energy into my agency's personal brand or business brand. So I get out on LinkedIn and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing out here, and feeling very alone, very vulnerable. But I needed a couple of years just to be a solopreneur. And what that meant was one-on-one coaching. At first, that's all I did. One-on-one coaching, consulting, and coaching. Then I started building products, and I built From 0 to 6 Academy with a lot of digital products and community and stuff like that. And then guess what happened? Another shift happened. And I realized, Krista, you're not as excited about work every day. So listen to yourself. See how I pivoted multiple times? I sold my agency, which I loved, became a solopreneur. That worked for a while. Then I was itching to do more passive income, built the digital stuff. Then something happened to me again, and I put myself out there. I'm open for fractional CMO services. And over the course of about a year, I got 5 clients. I had to let go of one because of a different story that I'm actually going to post about very soon. I'm not going to call them out, but I'm going to tell you what happened. But the purpose is because I loved managing people. And back in my agency, I knew I was really good at it. I knew I loved people, and I loved creative people and managing creative people. And I knew that I could handle 80 people, 100 people, no problem. But I needed a break. So everyone listening, things aren't forever. You have seasons in your life, and maybe sometimes your career will take a back burner because your personal life, you have small children, you need to step up, you have a sick parent, you're sick. Please don't put yourself in a box and think that you have to be Alex Hormozy, or you have to be Tim Ferriss, or you have to be whoever it is, right? Let yourself enjoy the journey and pivot as many times as you need. And here's the beauty of that. At every stage, you're going to be okay.
I'm absorbing everything that you're saying and taking notes. This is really good. And I know we've run out of time. I want to thank you so much for your time. How do people get a hold of you, and how much, like in terms of fractional CMO? I'm not sure what your bandwidth and your max capacity is. Are you able to handle 10 clients? How you handle like 6 clients, 5 clients?
So here's the good news. The bad news is I'm full. I don't have any capacity for fractional CMO. But the good news is that last year I started my official agency, the new one, Unignorable Brands. And I'm really focused on AI content. So AI infused content and influencer marketing, because a lot of people here on LinkedIn are top voices or grew a big personal brand, and they don't know how to monetize on that. So I'm going to help those people. And in my agency, Unignorable Brands, I'm offering 3 services: marketing, lead gen, and sales.
Of course it is. The trifecta.
And I'm building teams right now. I'm continuing to grow where I'm building more out those teams so that I can help people go from my core specialty, which is marketing, but that they don't get lost in the weeds. Like, okay, but who's going to actually make those sales calls? Who's going to, and so I'm helping those people. So you can't maybe have me as a fractional right now, but you can have my agency services. So to get in touch, please just go to LinkedIn, and you'll see in the link in my profile, you'll see in my featured section, there's multiple ways to reach out. I also want to end this by saying that one of the things that you should do if you're a business owner, whether you're at the very beginning or you're already 7 figures, is you should be doing check-in questions about where you're at, kind of like an internal audit. And that's why I created a free business quiz. Now, people pay me a lot of money to audit their brands, and that's another service I will do. So you can book me a couple of times a year. I can't handle everybody, but I'll come in and I'll spend some hours looking at your business and prepare a whole report about what I think you can do to meet your goals better, where I see your weaknesses, your strengths, kind of like a health coach comes in and gives you a workout routine. That's what I do, but I call it an audit. The business questions are free, but they're going to give you a little taste of what that audit would be like, because you have to answer these questions to categorize where you're at and assess. And we should all be doing that. We should all be looking at ourselves and asking, are we doing what we need to be doing to get to the goals that we want? Because most of us think we're doing the right things. It's just like, a person who's like, I don't know why I can't lose the weight. And I'm like, are you using your calorie tracker? And when they start really using it, they realize that they're consuming like really sugary beverage, or that healthy smoothie actually is a fat bomb, So that's the same with business. If you do a business quiz, which you can get in the show notes or in my featured section, the business quiz will help you be a little bit more honest with yourself about where you might need to improve.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So much value, so many amazing experiences that you've shared with us. I felt very comforted that when you said at every stage that you're okay to pivot, so the permission, and that you're going to be okay. So I can see, your mama of 4 children coming in, that maternal instinct. I felt very protected and very supported in that. So we will talk about that in part 2 with some of the sleazy tactics of marketing and sales that have come into both of our inboxes on another call, and would love to get into some of the personal, family and how you got to where you were from, your upbringing. So on behalf of just everyone who's watching, just want to thank you so much, Krista, because I know time is money. And thank you for coming on today. And we just really want to appreciate you and honor you. And also for everyone who's tuning into the Sales and Dish Show podcast, remember that faith without actions is dead. And our goal here is to sell more so that you can give more. Thanks so much, Krista, for your time today.
Thanks for being a great host.
Thank you.